going to tell you a story today, and it's called Charlotte's Web. It's written by E.B. White. Over here in the picture are some of the characters. This girl, her name is Fern, and I'll sign Fern. The pig, his name is Wilbur, and we'll sign Wilbur. The rat, his name is Templeton, and I'll sign Templeton. The spider, her name is Charlotte, and I'll sign Charlotte. Wilbur is born the runt of a litter on the arable farm. Mrs. Arable thinks runts are more trouble than they're worth and plans to kill little Wilbur. Fern, learning her mother's plan, protests. She'll name him Wilbur. It's not fair to hurt him just because he's small, she reasons. Mrs. Arable agrees to spare Wilbur, and Fern adopts him as her pet. She's taking care of him there. Before long, Wilbur has grown up into a big pig. Mrs. Arable wants to sell Wilbur because she can't afford to feed him anymore. Of course, Fern doesn't want to part with her friend Wilbur. They compromise and decide to sell Wilbur to Uncle Homer down the road so that Fern can visit Wilbur every day. So Wilbur moves into a new barn and meets his new roommates. His 5 roommates. Templeton the rat, Gander the goose, Sheep, and Charlotte, the beautiful spider. Although Wilbur misses Fern, Charlotte makes him feel at home in the barn, and they become close friends. Soon, the other animals on the farm tell Wilbur why Uncle Homer raises pigs. They feed you a lot so that they can make bacon and ham. Wilbur is horrified to hear that the humans are fattening him up so that they can turn him into bacon and ham. He gets very scared. But Charlotte calms him down and promises that she will save him. The next morning, Lurvy comes into the barn to feed the animals and finds something special. During the night, Charlotte has spun the words, "Some pig," into her web. Uncle Homer and Lurvy think a miracle has happened. The next night, Charlotte spins a different message into her web. People begin pouring in to see the miraculous web and that pig that seems to have caused it all. Because of that miraculous web, Uncle Homer decides to take Wilbur to the county fair. If Wilbur gets a prize, he will be too special to make into bacon. So Fern, Wilbur, Templeton, and Charlotte pack up and go to the county fair for the competition. But Charlotte has a problem. It is time for her to spin her egg sack, which will hold all of her eggs. When they get to the fair, Charlotte stays up all night to write a message in her web for Wilbur, and then spins her egg sack. In the morning, Charlotte is exhausted and won't survive the trip back to the barn. Sadly, and with Templeton's help, Wilbur carries Charlotte's web sack onto the truck and makes sure it gets back to the barn safely. Wilbur takes care of the sack until the eggs hatch and hundreds of Charlotte's little spiderlings are born safely. And look at that, Wilbur won first prize, and that's at the end of the story.